Hello, patrons. This is Cyber Saloon. So today we're going to be going over Tensei Slime Season 2, Episode 2, aka Rise of Nations, aka Civ 5. So, this episode was really good overall. I thought it had some really funny parts, and of course, it was entertaining. I've never seen an episode of Tensei Slime that was not entertaining. So, we kind of pick up where we were last time. They're, the delegates are fighting, Shion is fighting Sophia, and Grucius is fighting Yam, and it's really funny. Like Shion is not having like any bullshit, and she's about to unleash like this like nuke on the battlefield. And, like even Rimuru was like you really don't want to unleash that, and of course Shion isn't even listening. So Rimuru kind of knew this. It kind of seems like, but the main delegate, the snake-looking woman, she like just tells them both to stop. Because this was basically a test. They wanted to see how they reacted under pressure. They wanted to see how strong, his elite bodyguard would be, and so that was kind of the whole point of this. And we see later that the head of the ogres, like when he went there, that was kind of the point of like Rimuru sending his delegates to. He wanted to make sure that they could be trusted. He wanted to make sure that he wanted to kind of gauge their strength a little bit and see how strong they were, and it seems like all well and good. Everyone stops fighting, and like Rimuru's like kind of expected it, like, oh yeah, this was a test. What he didn't know, and what Shion kind of forgot, she had, I think it's called it's a magic bullet. It's this super powerful attack. Based on the way they were talking about it, it can basically desolate the whole entire area, which is why I call it. It's like a nuke, basically. And the face she makes when she looks back and looks at Rimuru is hilarious. Rimuru's like, Shion, like, what's wrong? And she like makes this kind of face, and she has this like derpy look because she realizes like it's too powerful. She had put too much energy into it to just like absorb it all back at once. And it's really fun because like Sophie is like trying to talk her down, like, hey, try, maybe if you like put it up in the air. And you see some of the other delegates from the other nation like slowly backing away. And I love Shion. Shion's absolutely hilarious. And then we see Rimuru. He ends up absorbing it because Rimuru's like, I don't think there's anyone even alive, even the Demon Lords like wise. I don't think there's anyone even remotely close to how OP he is, just because of his slime abilities. But again, he ends up absorbing the whole entire blast, and it doesn't create a situation. And then after that, they're kind of even the people on his own side are still kind of shook. But Ranga's like, yeah, I mean that's about what I expect from him. But the other people on the other side, they're actually pretty happy to be making an ally with someone that's strong. Because I mean, if you think about it, it's like you would want a guy like that on your side, like who's that like stupid OP. So they're pretty happy with the way that the delegation turned out, even though she nearly nuked the entire country. But you know, she has what she means well, and so everything turns out well, and they're really happy to continue negotiations. So we kind of fast forward to like the celebrations that night, and we see that like the snake, like the snake woman is basically just drinking like entire barrels full, just like getting litty on apple brandy, and she's drank like 8 barrels. I'm just like, oh my god, you can't. What a champ, dude! Like she's an absolute champ, and we see Sophia. I thought this was kind of adorable. We see her beast form is like this tiger, and she's like lapping kind of like a cat does. Like she's lapping the brandy, and they're kind of shook when like Rimuru kind of tells them like, oh, like, you know, it's not a big deal because like we kind of make this specially for guests, but he's still kind of shook that like she drank it all. And she kind of asked him like, can you guys not produce that much? And Rimuru kind of goes over like, there's not a lot of like fruit that kind of grows in his area, in his country. So, and of course this leads to trade, because in their country they have mass farms to produce not just fruit but high quality fruit. And of course they want to get trade negotiations underway so they can start so Rimuru's country can start like basically trading them high level, like top shelf brandy and alcohol in general. And it's really funny because Rimuru's like, you guys just only want this so you can it can fulfill your booze habits. And they basically kind of agree. So he calls in like he has like this head of like the main guy who oversees like all of his merchants. He kind of sounds like he would basically be like a high-end like Secretary of Treasury or something like that. Kind of like a high-end person who kind of deals with trade between countries, like someone who works for the Treasury or something like that. He ends up like bringing him in, and like his name is Kobe, and he's this dog, and like I think we of course, like, you have to love Kobe. He's like this innocent looking dog type like merchant, and Rimuru basically, I guess, again explains he's like Kobe kind of oversees like all the merchants and their wares, and it seems like he kind of goes over trade prices and sets those too. He tells Kobe that he has to oversee negotiations like to make brandy and like a bunch of other stuff with Sophia and the snake chick, and he's really shook because like Rimuru kind of goes over, he's dealt with like trading within demon lords nations before, but like where they're from is called the Animal Kingdom, and like I guess they're kind of hybrids. It kind of sounds like, to where they can go between like their beast form and like their human type form, kind of like what you see Sophia and the snake chick. Like they have their humanoid looking form, but they're extremely powerful kind of creatures as well, like a giant snake or like the giant white tiger, which is what Sophia is. And weaker species of animals aren't allowed in the Animal Kingdom. So Rimuru kind of tells him, oh yeah, like I'll get like I'll kind of secure that. And then Sophia and the snake woman were like, oh yeah, no, we'll get that settled out. We'll allow you to come in here. And his reaction is hilarious. He's like, what? He's like spooked because he's like about to trade with these like high-end like beast type characters, and like he's like this dog, but it's hilarious. So they basically leave him behind to kind of sort out negotiations with that kingdom. They also have a really cool kind of trade program they have going on. So like there's people who they've sent back with the delegates to kind of learn some skills from them, and they've also kind of they've let some people kind of stay behind to kind of learn from Rimuru's kind of empire as well. It's really cool because you get to see them working together with the dwarves, Shala, which is like the ogre princess, and like all these other things to get to try to learn how to cooperate, but at the same time kind of gain like a mutual gain to both parties and countries. So I thought that was really cool. Grom and Yam and one of the other delegates is talking, and you see like the goblins kind of call over to the delegates, like, oh yeah, we're gonna go out and like on a scouting thing, and then Yam's like, all right, I'm gonna go get in the bath, and then we see like the head ogre guy, not the leader of them, but like the oldest one. He's like this OP legendary like blade master, and he like hits Yam. He's like, you're not getting out of training. So Yam of course has to go train with him again. You get kind of an adorable scene, like the kids that like Rimmer was overseeing at the end of last season. Like he ends up going to check on them a little bit with Ranga and to see how they're doing, and of course they're doing pretty well. Like he notes that even without him there, he had disciplined them enough, or I guess encouraged them enough to where they can still learn even without him there. So then, like the delegation party that he had sent to the Animal Kingdom, like while their delegates were meeting with Rimuru, he had also sent a delegation with Benimaru, which is like the head of the ogres, and a bunch Rigger is too, which is he's the son of like the leader of the goblins. Like they went to go kind of check out kind of how like Lord Carrion, which is like the head of the country there, kind of how that country is. And there's a part that kind of was like, it kind of struck me as odd. I'm just like, what? And he was like kind of explaining how things are there, and he started going over like their most of the population is like super poor, and it's like heavily concentrated into the palace. And he's like, oh no, that's cool. Like the population's cool with that. That's what they want. I'm just like, do they though? I'm just like, that sounds like a stupid corrupt system. Like, I don't know. I thought that part was like a little bit questionable. I was like, so they're okay with like high corruption? Like, all right, like, and that's their thing. I guess. I don't know. It looked a bit questionable to me, but whatever. So he kind of went over that in most forms, from like weapons and tools, architecture. Like they're not on par with Rimuru's empire. 'Cause again, you gotta remember, like Rimuru's empire has like the dwarves, and they're all extremely great at engineering and architecture. And there's one area though that Lord Carrion's empire kind of excels at, and which is agriculture. So what, like, and it kind of shows a picture. It's like these beautiful like rolling hills, and like it kind of reminds me. I don't know why, but when I kind of saw it kind of reminds me kind of like the south of France, or like where wine, like the grapes and stuff are grown in California, like really prime time, like farmland, like really like beautiful farmland, and that's kind of what it reminded me of, like grapes and whatnot. But yeah, so their agriculture is like top notch, which is what it makes sense. They grow a lot of fruit there too, which is why the Sophia and the other woman wanted to trade like high end fruits. So after he kind of meets with Rigger and then they kind of talk about it, Benimaru, which is kind of like the leader of the ogres, he kind of tells him he wants to relegate his duties to Rigger, because Rigger's like a really good delegate apparently, but just because he kind of wants to stay behind and be like a protector of the country, he wants to focus more just making sure that threats don't come in from the outside. And he basically tells like Rimuru that he like met Lord Carrion and like he seemed like a really he seemed trustworthy. And then of course like Benimaru like tried to attack like in a one against one of his elite guard, and obviously he got like clapped when he tried to go against Lord Carrion. But he said like he trusted him enough, and he kind of wanted to focus on like his duties here at home, instead of like dealing with like delegation type issues, because they trust him enough. So after that, we go to Rimuru is about to go to the Dwarven Empire, like to see the Dwarven King from season 1, because he needs to pay him a visit because they're on good relations. But it's been a while, so he goes to see the Dwarven King, and it kind of goes over. It's like he has like. Shala kind of said like, oh well, if you're gonna be like go as a delegate, you need to get him some nice gifts instead of like having a wagon to do it. Rimuru like just stores them on inside his stomach. I'm just like, God, like there's so many like pros to him, like his ability, like it's just so broken, but it's like he can just store like nearly infinite amounts of stuff in there. So he's like a bunch of high end stuff he's like that he's bringing with him. And Shala, which is the ogre princess, is like really good at etiquette and like learning how to like talk and deal with people. But Shion got mad that like she at first when he didn't want to take her with her because she's just kind of like on edge a lot. So the scene where he tells her that, oh, I'm just going with Shala is hilarious. Like she just starts crying, like, and it's so adorable at this, like, and just hilarious at the same time. And she ends up destroying most of the room. And so Rimuru basically has to take her with her. So they finally get at the Dwarven capital, and of course, like remember, like the Dwarven brother who was the guardsman for the castle, like in from season 1, like when he sees Rimuru again, he's just like shook. He's just like they keep trying to explain, oh yeah, this is Rimuru, like, and he's like, huh, what do you mean? So he's kind of surprised to see Rimuru, like, because Rimuru looks like an anime girl, and the last time you saw him he was a slime. So the way that the episode ends, like it ends off with you're about to see the Dwarven King and Rimuru kind of talk. And at the same time, the way that it ends, it looks like this guy's like the master, like probably the strongest of all the demon lords, because he's in season 1, and like it seemed like all of them were kind of like when they had that meeting. Milim knows him, I know, and he's kind of making this. He basically has this servant. I think he's gonna try to kind of like infiltrate Rimuru's empire and try to mess with it a little bit, just maybe to either gauge his strength or just maybe because he's nefarious means. And it looks like we're about to meet a new character, like the person that he's using as a slave. And he made a comment, do you want your heart back? I'm not sure if he meant like literally, or like I'm not sure if he meant like soul wise, but I don't know. I really enjoyed the episode overall. It was definitely entertaining. Shion, of course, is hilarious. I love the politics of him like messing with Lord Carrion's empire and dealing with all that trade stuff. I really enjoy that type of stuff. And also, I can't wait to see what this new character is going to be about. Of course, I don't doubt she's going to have some tragic backstory or something. But I'm excited for the next episode. What did you guys think in the comments below? Do you think Shion is hilarious as I do? And are you excited to see this new character? Because I have no idea who she is, but I can't wait to see the next one. That's all I got for this one, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Take care.